Hello everyone, we are today here at the Military History Museum of the Bundeswehr in Dresden, and this is Magnus Pahl.
Hello.
He is the curator of the Fallschirmjäger exhibition, and today we ask a question: why the Fallschirmjäger were not used in Operation Barbarossa?
Yes, they were not used on 22nd June 41, and actually they were before, during the planning of Operation Barbarossa. A lot of requests from army command staffs and higher command levels, and they asked, okay, we need some small packages, maybe battalions, regiments, especially to capture the Russian bridges in western parts of Russia. And Coach Student, the chief in command from the 11th Flieger Corps, the Fallschirm Corps, the Parachute Corps, refused those requests because he had the idea that the the paratroopers, were such a high valuable force that it had to be deployed in a geschlossen Einsatz, in a mission,
As a whole division, yeah.
Fighting as a Flieger Corps, and not in small packages somewhere in the east. And so that was what he recalled later. So he refused it to get into missions in the east, and refused it during the early days during the planning process, which started in the summer of 1940. Yeah.
So, could you say that the Operation Crete was kind of a counter mission, so that he proposed that it definitely would not happen that it would be deployed during Operation Barbarossa?
The basic ideas and the basic concepts, and that was what especially Göring and I think even Hitler told the paratroopers, was that of course they were a high valuable special force, and it required a lot of equipment to deploy, to conduct operations, airborne operations with those paratroopers. And the idea was like 1940, when they tried to capture and neutralize the government district of The Hague, Den Haag, the Dutch capital. It went wrong, but they tried to capture the government, and that was from their concept. That was the doctrine, to capture high valuable targets. And in 41, early days of 41 in January, that was also, of course, what Student had in his mind. He thought, okay, that would be a waste of forces to use them in small packages. And he always wanted to get deployed in big missions, and very important missions, which would be conducted maybe in a way that changed the war,
course of the war,
which were kriegsentscheidend, which were decisive for the outcome of the whole war. And in the spring of 41. The Germans were close allies with the Italians, and they conducted the so-called Balkanfeldzug against former Yugoslavia and Greece, and they captured they destroyed the Allied forces in those countries in a quite short time. And after the battles, they took a look at the map and said, okay, maybe that would be a good ending point for the whole campaign, and to invade Crete and to conquer Crete as well, which was a part of Greece, of course. So. And Student thought, okay, maybe it's a good possibility to use my own Flieger Corps and to conduct an airborne operation on a higher level, not on tactical levels to link up with tank forces and so on, but on an independent operation. That was the idea behind. And so he talked with Göring, and Göring, of course, had, after the battle of England, the lost battle, his own prestige, Göring's prestige, was not the best at that time, and Göring needed successes. So he favored also the Operation Mercury, Unternehmen Merkur, and supported Student in convincing Hitler to do the Operation Mercury.
So in a other perspective, you could say they chose one operation where basically one division could shine, whereas in Operation Barbarossa, there was like, it would be more than 100 divisions on the Eastern Front, even if it would have been deployed as a whole, because then it was just, yeah.
Yes, it was impossible to fly from occupied territories in the east to Moscow. That was
okay. That would be
that was not in the range of the U-52 aircraft, transport aircrafts, and it was clear to them that they would not be decisive in a battle against Red Army. That was, I think, clear to the airborne troops because of the limitations of the own equipment. Yeah. And airborne equipment.
One question, a bit related to this. Usually what comes up in the Mediterranean that like taking Crete was a failure and everyone points out, mostly armchair historians, but other people as well, why not take Malta? Wasn't Malta way more important? And basically why was Malta not the first target for the paratroopers?
Yes, it was a task given to Student and his staff to prepare and to research. Okay, where would it be best to use our airborne forces against the British forces in the Mediterranean Sea? And they did a lot of case studies, and Malta was one of them. But they thought, okay, Malta is better defended. That was their prediction and their assessment. Okay, it's better defended, and it's more terraneous, more mountain terrain, and so they thought, okay, Malta could be the bigger problem, and Crete seemed to be easier. And also they thought, okay, on the mainland in Greece, the population was more or less neutral during the first days of the campaign, and the paratroopers, Student and the staff believed, okay, that possibly will be the same case in Crete, and that was also a miscalculation and did not work out. But that was also the idea behind, that they thought, okay, that's maybe the easier target than Malta, which was better defended, and so they choose Crete.
So yeah, Malta is very small and basically most stuff is mountains or urban territory, I guess. So landing there alone might lead to many casualties, and then if you have a high density of enemy forces, then the chances of surviving are rather low the initial first 5 minutes probably.
Yes, and it was even discussed after Crete to capture Malta, because it was a crucial position for the British and cut off the lines of supply across the Mediterranean Sea for Rommel and his Afrika Korps. And so they took especially one paratroop battalion as a Lehrregiment, a demonstration battalion, Lehrbattalion first and later became the Lehrregiment. And this Lehrbattalion made some tests also with diving gliders, because that was a problem that before that you especially were not able to they were not able to land on the spot. And with a diving glider, they wanted to pinpoint the exact area of landing, very detailed and very accurate. So that was the idea behind.
Sounds rather unhealthy.
Yes, I think so.
Diving glider attack. I mean,
but they made some trials and functioned. It worked out.
It worked out?
Yes. According to the sources, they tried it and it worked out.
How did they achieve this? Some major bumper or?
No, it was a chute also for the glider.
So basically in the last seconds, so they deployed the chute?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I mean,
and they tested it, and especially Major von der Heide was the battalion commander. He took place in the invasion of Crete in May 41 with Parachute Regiment 3 in the area around Chania, was the battalion commander, and he did those testings in 42.
But operationally it was never used?
No, it was cancelled. What was never used because for many reasons, but they did not attack Malta in 42 or 43.
Did you see blueprints of this?
No.
Glider? No. Okay.
No.
I mean, the only drop I could imagine, like, this is basically Space Marines, but this is a bit of that's fiction, a bit of different technology level. So, anything to add here?
I think it's worthy to say add that the time pressure for Unternehmen Merkur, for Operation Mercury, was very high because Hitler did not make a decision until April, and the first suggestions were in January, but he was not sure how he used his airborne forces, and so a lot of time was lost, and it was only in the end of April 41 that Hitler made the decision, okay, we attack Crete, and the time frame was very limited because he ordered that the 8th Fliegerkorps, 8. Fliegerkorps under General von Richthofen had to deploy to the Eastern Front at least in the late days of May 41. And so it was clear to student and to staff that they have to be very quick in conducting the operation. Otherwise, there was a big problem for them that after the redeployment of the 8th Fliegerkorps, they would not have the air superiority and the close air combat support of the Air Force.
So, and this probably also limited the amount of training they had for the operation itself.
That's true, and I think that's why they choose this risky operational plan itself, to attack on 3 different air fields and to jump more or less directly
into the midst of the enemy,
into the target. So, and that was to everyone in the staff, for student and the staff, clear that it was more risky, but they had not the time to, for example, build a point of main effort, a Schwerpunkt, around the area of, for example, Malem, and then conduct an infantry division operation on a tactical level, so the classical infantry attack. They had to be quick, very quick, because otherwise, after 1 or 2 weeks or so, the 8th Fliegerkorps was pulled out and would have been pulled out, and they were without the air support. So,
okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much to the Military History Museum of the Bundeswehr Dresden for making this possible. Thank you to all my Patreon and subscriber supporters. As always, source the list in the description. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye.
Bye.